Okay, so I was going to talk us through the process of brewing, I think. So
Yeah, let's do it. Eh?
I don't know much about it. I have made a beer kit years ago, but nothing like this.
This is one of the main ingredients we use in beer.
Right.
There's lots of different malts that you can use.
Okay.
All right. But this is the main one. Now this is a pale ale.
What's that? Barley, is it?
Yeah, it's barley.
Yeah.
And this is actually a winter barley, which is Propino.
It's just being harvested now.
Yeah. So this is a Propino, which is all crushed and it's been malted as well. So it's not too flowery.
And where does that come from? Is that English or?
Yes, it comes from a maltster. Is based in Peterborough.
Right.
But they get it from a number of British farms around the UK. So
there's different qualities of barley, isn't there?
Our base malt always has been British and always will be British. We try and keep everything in the brewery as natural as possible, and try and use as many British products as well.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, definitely. So this big tank here is a big immersion eater, if you like.
Okay.
So it's actually called a hot liquor tank.
Right.
At the moment it's set at 47 degrees.
Yeah.
So what happens when it's brew day is hot water comes out of that tank.
Yeah.
And goes into this one.
Okay.
Right. This little tank is called the mash tun. So all of our grains go in here.
Yeah.
Combined with hot water, which is usually, it's coming out of that tank, out the hot liquor tank there, at about 76 degrees. And it'll end up in here.
Yeah.
We're looking roughly about 65, 66 degrees to finish the mash, what we call the mash off. It's like, it finishes up basically looking like a thick porridge.
Oh, okay,
And that sits in there for an hour.
Yeah.
And then you get all the enzymes active in there. You get all your starches turned into sugars, fermentable sugars, so and that happens on a basis of what temperature is in there to what sugars actually come out, so you'll get fermentable sugars and non-fermentable sugars. So if you think of like a table sugar, which is a fermentable sugar, and something like a sweetener sugar, which is a non-fermentable sugar, this is all happening by the amount of heat or the right temperature that's inside that mash tun. So that also has a bearing on, whether your beer comes out too sweet or too dry.
Right.
So there's a lot of science that happens inside that,
Oh, okay, yeah.
So basically, when that's happened for an hour, that then, the hot liquor tank, we heat that up further, so the water's thrown out then, about water that's like 77 degrees. We get this little helicopter of a arm that then turns around.
What's that do?
That spurts water out, sprays water out on top of the grain.
Is that cooling it down or what?
No. It actually intensifies the heat,
right,
to stop that process, if you like, converting all the starches into sugars. It's stopping that from happening.
Right, okay.
So what it's also doing is it washes through all of that grain. It works like a filter, if you like. Pushing all those sugars out, plus all the colours from the malts. So you'll just have, you could have some darker malts in there as well, which we'll have a look at in a minute.
Yeah.
Comes out the bottom, down a big pipe.
Right.
Goes in that pump there, which is not connected up at the moment, but
into another chamber.
Into this, which is like a big kettle in here.
Oh, right. You can see the immersion heater type elements in there.
Yes, and one of those elements is 12 kilowatts, the other one's 9 kilowatt.
Yeah.
So there's quite a bit of power inside there.
So that's boiling it away then, really?
Yeah, so basically that boils away for an hour, and through that hour we add hops at different intervals, or if we're doing wacky beers, we'll add other ingredients into there as well, like chilies or things like that, so or orange peel or whatever else, so and then once that's all boiled away in there, we check the gravity, make sure we've got the right gravity on the beer to obviously end up with the right ABV for the beer. It comes out there, goes through this big thing here, which is the heat exchanger.
Cooler or something?
Yeah.
Let's have a
So
similar to what they use in milking parlours,
Yeah.
actually. So
Yeah.
it extracts the heat, does it?
yeah,
Yeah.
now we've got cold water that's sat in this
Blimey,
tank
it's
here.
quite a lot of work, isn't it?
Yeah, so the cold water comes out of there,
Yeah.
passes one way, while the beer passes is in the opposite direction
Yeah.
inside there. So the hot water comes out there, 100 degrees.
Right.
It gets flash cooled
Yeah.
to 19 degrees.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah,
Hot
that's
cold
quick, isn't
water.
it? Yeah.
Now the cold water, once it's gone through that heat exchanger,
Why do you cool it? Why don't you just let it cool somewhere slowly?
it's basically because you want to start fermentation as quick as you possibly can.
Right.
But it's also to rest the amount of protein. All right. That's within that grain. Otherwise, you're going to end up with seriously cloudy beer. You
Okay.
know. So
Yeah,
you
want
don't
that.
really want that if you can help it. You know.
Don't mind a cloudy beer occasionally, but
Yeah, it's. I mean, cloudy beer is good.
Yeah.
You know, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
You know,
but it looks good in a glass of clear one, doesn't it?
yeah. So once that cold water's gone through there, anyway, we don't waste the water.
Right.
The water goes down this copper pipe and all the way back into a big immersion heater, and we
Okay.
heat it back up then for the next brew.
Right.
So,
Okay. It's a
you know,
perfect
saving
recycling.
water,
Yeah, fair play. It's
you know?
expensive, isn't it?
Yeah. So you know, the only water we're using really is what's coming out of the mains to fill this tank back up. That's it. You know. So while that's getting transferred, the beer's coming out there, goes through the heat exchanger, comes out of this pipe, and then we transfer it to one of these.
One of these.
tanks.
Blimey.
You know, and these are the fermentation vessels.
Right.
So that gets fermented then for about 7 to 10 days, depending upon how strong we want the beer.
Right.
And then it's cooled down for a couple of weeks. We might dry hop it or add
Quite a
extra
lot of
things.
work, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not just a case of
Yeah.
knocking it all out really quickly and there you go.
Yeah. So it's there's a lot to go on, with keeping the beers as well at the right temperatures.
Have you ever made a batch and spent all that time and then it's gone wrong?
Only once.
And what went wrong?
I wouldn't say, well, actually twice.
Yeah.
All right. The first time was I wasn't generally just happy with the beer anyway.
Right.
I could have probably put it in a cask, but I wasn't happy myself.
Yeah.
So I connected a pipe up, one end to the tank and one end to the drain.
Oh
and
no.
opened the valve. and
Beer
away
down
it
the
went.
drain. Oh! I should have been here sat down the other end drinking it.
960 litres of
Blimey,
beer
that's a
went
lot,
down the drain.
So is that how much you make in a batch? About
Yes.
1,000 litres? or
Yeah,
something?
and
Yeah.
12 hours of work as well.
Wow.
So, but there we go, it
Yeah.
happens. The second time was when we had contractors on the site and I wasn't told, and they went through a water mains pipe, and I was brewing on that day.
Oh, no.
And
Ooh, so all the
before
dirty
I
water
had
came in.
chance, there's only like one stage,
Mm.
where we use the water from the mains, and that's obviously the end process here, like I just explained, which fills our tank up.
Mm.
That happened on that day, only I used a bit of extra water from the tank, if you like, to liquor the beer back, to get it back down, if you like, in gravity.
Mm.
You put, extra water in it, if you like, to reach your target ABV, So I went to do that and noticed the water was brown.
Ooh,
So
ain't good, is it?
I shut everything off as quick as I
What a
could.
nightmare.
I had a look out the door and stuff, couldn't see nothing about. Phoned the landlord, he said, yeah, contractor's just gone through a water pipe.
Do they compensate you?
Yes, well, we had to go through insurance,
Yeah.
but basically I spent the whole day here for nothing, and what I had already brewed, which was still hot, went down the
Oh
drain.
no.
So it was already
Money down
infected
the drain.
with dirty water. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, so there we go anyway. So if you want, you can
Ooh.
kind of...
Have you got some stuff in here at the moment?
Yeah.
What's this one going to be called then?
This one, I think. This one's 3.8% pale.
Right.
And it's called Third Eye Blind.
Third eye.
Yeah.
Ooh, it smells really nice actually. It's a really yeasty smell, isn't it?
Yeah.
Third eye blind. Wow.
Yeah. So it's just starting to ferment, that one is. So it was only put in there about a day ago. So
Right. Okay.
so there's some slow bubbles coming up on that one.
What
That
about
one's
this one?
got,
Now looking at that one. This is a lager, is it? What's this lager called?
This lager's called Bowo. It's a new lager as well. And for those people that
Oh,
are
it smells
close to
nice.
Bristol, if they are able to get to M Shed in Bristol,
M Shed.
they've got it on in permanent tap.
Wow.
There. So,
Oh, I know the M Shed.
now this one,
Is there another one? Oh, wow.
you can have a look in.
I tell you what, it smells lovely.
Got a strong fermentation going on at the moment.
Right.
This one's called Dirty Dog.
Dirty. Oh, blimey, look at that. It's all bubbly.
Yeah, that's all yeast on the
Oh.
top of it, so it's fermenting quite well.
It smells nice though.
Yeah.
I like that.
So,
I could just spend the day sniffing all
temporary
this.
lid on there at
Yeah.
the moment. We've got a new one coming.
Right.
This we only installed that tank beginning of last week, so
So are you expanding sort of really?
sort of, yeah.
Slowly,
it's
slowly.
taking, a lot of time to do.
But you're
it.
sort of taking the slow route rather than going, let's just suddenly go mad, and
Yeah.
this is probably the better way of doing it really, isn't it? Controllable.
Like I said earlier, I mean, when I managed to move into the smaller unit, I've been trading for 12 months and then managed to get what is called Finance Wales.
Oh, right.
They're partly run by the Welsh Assembly government, if you like, so they come out, they had a look at me and I was like, God, you need some investment.
Yeah.
So
brilliant.
we asked for a large sum of money and they helped us out. Yeah, we got to pay it back, but it helped us out, helped me buy this brew kit, and a few other things you see in there, but other than that, it's just keep, when I can, buy another piece of equipment, keep.
So you're really a one-man band at the moment then, aren't you?
Pretty much.
You got someone helping you out.
Yeah, I've got Sarah who works in sales.
But literally everything that someone drinks a pint of beer, it's basically your work. There isn't like a team of blokes. Like you buy beer from some companies, there must be like 30 or 40 or 100.
Yeah.
It's just you.
Yeah.
So Mad Dog is you.
Yeah. Pretty much.
That's pretty impressive, mate. I think that's really impressive.
The brewing process, we wash our own casks.
You should be really proud of what you've achieved, I think.
Yeah, I mean, some days I have a little stand out in the yard, and have a look in here and think, geez, I created this.
Yeah.
And
fair play. And I'm impressed you're in the M Shed because having, spent a lot of time in Bristol as a young lad, going out and nights out and stuff, I know the M Shed quite well. It's a lovely building, and for a little brewery, from not being funny, but a little brewery, I've driven quite a long way from Bristol to a little kind of industrial estate in the middle of a lane. To get into the M Shed, I think you've achieved something really quite amazing there, because between here and the M Shed, there's quite a lot of little breweries.
Oh yeah,
and they haven't got in there,
especially in Bristol. And some really good ones as well.
I think hats off to you for that.
Yeah, so
there's got to be the power of the brand then, really, and the power of the actual drink.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, next weekend there'll be a real tester, I think, because they've got their Harbourside Festival on. So, they've already put a pre-order in for a lot of beer. So
you're going to be busy then.
Yes, we're going to make sure, because obviously we don't want to run out of beer. So which can happen to breweries sometimes. So we prepared ourselves, and
brilliant.
Yeah, so it was good. So.
When you've made that, what happens next then in the process?
Well, basically,
what do you do?
That'll cool down.
Yeah.
And when I'm happy that it's to the right flavour, I'll put it into whatever it needs to go in. So that could be a bottle.
So
it could be a cask, or it could be a keg.
How do you get that? I mean, I've noticed this behind. What's that in there? Is that beer that's finished?
No, we're fermenting.
That's more fermenting
beer in there as well. So
So how do you bottle it off though from there? Just with a pipe into a keg or something, is it?
Yeah, we fill up a cask, we prime that with sugar, and then it goes up into the air, and then basically this fills up with beer, and then we got those heads stick on there, so the bottles would then hang on there. Yeah. They weigh that down and fill up. So we're filling up manually as well.
So you're doing the bottles all by hand?
Yeah.
It's a real hand craft brewing, I suppose they call it. And here we go. Oh, just notice this. Look, we've got some names here. Stagnant Stout Face,
which actually won the gold at Gloucester Camera Beer Festival a couple of months ago. So granola stout. It's got proper handmade granola in it.
Yeah.
Bowo, a lager.
Quite a different,
Theodore
quite a
Vine.
range, isn't it?
Yeah.
And who designs all these little?
I've just.
Do you do these? Or do you get an artist?
I've done that.
You did that one, yeah.
And all the designs you see on the poster up on the wall, I've done. But these newer ones, we've just had a bit of a revamp, basically, because I want to change the appeal of the brewery and things. So I actually got a professional company involved, like
Yeah.
So
You've got to
they've
go
done well.
from. I mean, I suppose there's a level you go to when you first start. You've got to try and.
It is. I mean, when you take, our older labels, which look pretty much all look like that, if you see, to our newer ones, we've got barcodes on them now.
Right.
With full.
There's your address. Don't mind me showing that, do you? So we're with some more malts here. You told me.
Yeah.
What's the difference in these then? These are different from the other ones, are
Yeah.
they?
Basically, these are kilned in different ways.
Right.
So if you like, chocolate.
Chocolate malt.
All right.
Right.
So
Okay.
if let me use the jug. So that's what chocolate malt looks like.
Oh, it smells sort of like coffee almost. Or something.
Coffee.
Yeah.
But when you put it into beer, it really does bring out a nice chocolate
Right.
flavour.
Yeah.
So
And what have they done to that to make it like that? It's almost burn it or something.
yeah,
Isn't it?
that's basically it.
Right.
So they've basically kilned it to such
Yeah.
a state that it's got like that.
Right.
So in every malt that we use is, kilned in a different way, if I like, to give it its
Yeah.
flavours and
Right.
intensities.
So you can change the flavour of your
This
beer with the
one-
different malts then.
Yeah, this one here is a Belgian malt,
Right.
and it's called Special B.
Okay.
So
That doesn't smell. It smells nice.
Yeah,
It doesn't
it's-
smell as strong as the other one, does it?
So what we're looking for on this one is like dark fruits, mainly raisins
Yeah.
and stuff like that. We get out of this. You can get some plum flavours out of it as well.
Right.
So
So is it a bit of experimentation by mixing the different malts to see what you get and stuff, or is it just you choose your malt and then you add the other stuff?
Because we work with the maltsters anyway. They'll give us profiles
Yeah.
of each malt, but sometimes we'll get them in if we want to do a new beer. We pretty much to our own experience what the flavour each malt gives anyway. But if we get a new malt, we'll do a test brew with it first, to see what flavours and things like that. Or we do, the best thing we can do sometimes is we'll get a fresh new sack in and we'll just pick a handful and eat it.
Really?
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's the best way you'll get
Really?
flavours from it.
Yeah.
Hops are the same. We don't
Yeah.
eat hops, but we'll make a tea up and we'll put a hop coat
Really?
in there
Wow.
and we'll smell it, maybe taste a bit, and see what flavours we're getting out of it. So,
Oh my God.
So yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, so there's all different ones there, we've got some. The only one that's not barley, of course.
Oh, it's a wheat malt.
Wheat, and that's
Is that unusual to use a
no,
wheat?
this is actually a German wheat malt
Right.
as well.
Oh right, okay. You can see it's all flowery.
Yeah.
No, it just smells like wheat, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yes. So there we go.